There's an argument in the Gemara, in Rosh Hashanah, between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, between two opinions. When was the world created? Rabbi Eliezer says that the world was created b'Tishrei nivra olam. The world was created in Tishrei. And Rabbi Yeshua says that b'Nisan nivra olam, that the world was created in Nisan. And this argument is an extended argument not only with regards to creation, but also with regards to the creation of the birth of the patriarchs, of the others, with regards to redemption. What essentially is this argument? Obviously we're not talking about time, because their argument, when is the beginning of time? Rosh Hashanah, we know that Rosh Hashanah is not just, or it's not at all, the beginning of creation, but Rosh Hashanah actually celebrates the beginning of the human being, Adam Rishon, when Adam is created. And it's marked as a day of the beginning of the birth of the human being. So the argument between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, if the world is created in Nisan or the world is created in Tishrei, is what is the definition of the human being? What essentially makes a human being human? What is our essential character? The difference between Tishrei and Nisan is that Tishrei is the 7th month of the year, and Nisan is the 1st month of the year. Nisan, like the word Nes, represents the miraculous. It's the first month of the year, the first Chodesh, which is the word Chidush, new. And Tishrei represents the first day of the year, which Shana means old. So it's the first day of the old or the first day of the new. The first day of the old is the beginning of the new year. The first day of the new is the beginning of the first month of the year, which is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. When we think about the human being, the argument between Rabbi Eliezer and Yeshua is as follows. What constitutes the definition of a human? What is a human being? Is the human being a person that's born in a reality that is Tishrei, or is a human being created and born into the reality that is Nisan? Is the fundamental nature of the human being a person that takes responsibility and accountability for his life or her life? Or is the fundamental nature of the human being a person that dreams about a possibility of a future? If we say that the human being is created in Tishrei, which is the natural order, the cycle of 7, then we say that the definition of a human being is a person that takes responsibility for himself or herself. We look at our life, we look at our past, and we're accounting, and we take responsibility for ourselves. We also take responsibility for our future. If you are born into the month of Nisan, which means you're born into the month of the miraculous in time represents a time that's outside the past, right? Something that's unrelated to a past. Either the present moment, let's try to define it differently, either the present moment is purely the effect of the past, your actions that have brought you to this present moment, or the present moment is a moment that's bringing you to the future. What is it? It could be both, of course. That's why both opinions are, we agree with both opinions. But what is the predominant nature of the human being? Is the predominant nature a person? And therefore the definition of our present moment, is the present moment the effects of the past or the possibility of the future? When you look at this present moment, if you're just looking at the present moment as the effect of the past, another way to define this is that it's functioning in the time of yesh, egoic time. Egoic time is that there's a past, present, and future. And the past affects the present, and the present affects the future. If you look at the time from a perspective of ayin, which is the potential of everything, then every moment is a new moment. And every moment that you have, you can create something radically different. If you're born into the month of Tishrei, that means that we take responsibility for ourselves. But if we only look at it that way, and we say that we're following the opinion that we're only accountable for ourselves, then there is no possibility for our future, because whatever we've done in the past, that immediately affects our present. And therefore the present is just living out what the past is. And it's a vicious cycle. Therefore we also need the element of Nisan, which is the possibility of the future. You're following? So we have these two dimensions of self and two dimensions of time. Either the present is the effect of the past, or the possibility of the future. Either a human being is by definition someone that's accountable for his past or her past, or a person that lives with the possibility of a future. If you look at these two names of Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, you'll see that both Eliezer and Yeshua basically mean a similar thing. What does Eliezer mean? Eliezer is Keli Ezer, which means Hashem helps me. What does Yehoshua mean? Hashem Yehoshua. Hashem is my salvation. What's the difference between help and Yeshua? Melech Oizer U'Mashiach. You say this every day in the Amidah prayer, right? Hashem is a helper and a Mashiach, and it gives salvation. What's the difference between helping and solving? It's very simple. When you say help, it means that there's a problem, there's an issue on hand that needs some help, right? But there's still the problem. Yeshua represents the place that there's salvation from the problem, that there's no longer a problem, right? So Oizer, Ezri is a lower form of Yeshua. Ezri is a form of Yeshua, a form of salvation where there's still a problem, and Yeshua is where there's no longer a problem. That's the difference between Tishrei and Nisan. Tishrei represents a time that we're dealing with our past, and we're helping our past, we're doing tshuva for our past. That's the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer that says we're born in Tishrei. The opinion of Rabbi Yeshua is the opinion that says Yehoshua. There's a possibility of a complete future, which is Hashem Yeshua, which is no problem. That's the possibility of a new future. These two names of Ezer, and Yeshua is also the two names of the two people that brought us into Eretz Yisrael. The first person that brought us into Eretz Yisrael is called who? Yeshua. The second person that brings us into Eretz Yisrael is called who? Ezer. Very good. So Yeshua is with the first entry into Eretz Yisrael, and Ezra is with the second entry. The beginning of the first Beis HaMikdash is with Ezra, and Yeshua. The beginning of the second Beis HaMikdash is with Ezra. What's the difference between the first entry into Israel and the second entry into Israel? The first entry into Israel was with miracles and the miraculous, right? The wall of Yericho falls, and there's a miraculous event. That represents Yehoshua. And the second entry into Israel was done through the permission of the king Darius, which is, it was in a way of Ezra. And that's fundamentally the question of Rosh Hashanah. Is not only a question when were we born, but it's a question who we are. Are we human beings that long to take responsibility and accountability for ourselves, and to look at our past and to own our past, and to say the past that was created, we created it? Or, on a deeper level, it's not only about owning your past, but it's also about predicting your future and creating new possibilities for your future.